What's up guys, and welcome back to another FC25 video. I hope you guys are all doing well. We are only a few days away from FC25 early access, and today I'm here to talk to you around player roles. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to clear up what they basically are and how you're going to have to use them in the upcoming game, because personally I think they're going to be absolutely massive. We are on foot.gg. They've given us a brief description about player roles and basically what they are. So let's have a quick read. In EA Sports FC25, each position now has specific roles and focus that determine how the player will behave on the pitch. There are currently 31 roles in the game, each with 1 to 3 focuses. The focus determines the player's behaviour on the pitch, such as positioning, runs, defensive duties. So, basically, what you know about old FIFA/FC games in the past in regards to work rates, forget about it. The old tactic system, forget about it. If I'm honest, if you're somebody who plays FM, this will look somewhat familiar to you. First things first, like I say, forget about work rates. They are no longer a thing. I completely forgot about this until the other day, and I was reminded that work rates no longer exist, which I actually quite like, to be honest. I quite like that. So if we click on a striker here and say you're looking for a target forward, what you would want is, instead of having, you can go and buy a big man, but if they can't play as a target forward, it's kind of pointless. So I'm going to give you a description here of what a target forward does. An attacking outlet whose physicality allows them to hold up play, shield the ball from opponents, and bring others into attacks. They feed on crosses as well as passes to their feet. Now, that's a brief description of a target forward. However, within that, you've then got to decide your focus. So you've got wide, balanced, or attack. So if we look at the wide focus here for target forward, you will see that you've got the light green and the dark green. The lighter green that you've got here is where your player will be found more often. So I'm going to just pick a name off the top of my head, and I'm going to say Veghorst, right? I don't know if he's got target forward, but I'm just using him as an example. If he had target forward wide, you would see him more on the wing and not as often centrally. And you will see on foot.gg what they've done. They've said physical, tick, wide support, tick. There's an exclamation mark to say support centrally, meaning you're not going to see them running straight down the middle of your channel. So if you're someone you want your man directly in the middle of the box, you don't want to put them on wide, because essentially what they're going to do is run out to the wings essentially more often. Where this could be useful, potentially, I mean, we need to see how the game's going to play, but where it could be useful is if you're playing 2 up top. Maybe you're playing 2 with a cam in behind. Having someone as a wide target forward, if they've got good crossing. So off the top of my head, Joshua Zirkzee not actually got bad passing for a striker. If you had him out wide, whipping some crosses in, I know it seems a bit daft because he's 6'4", or Harry Kane, again, someone with good passing. And even if you want to put them out wide and pass on the ground centrally, so if you're going for a cutback, or if you're going back to the edge of the box for a cam, for example, could be quite good. Balanced, you will see that the box has gone even lighter, so you will see them a lot here. So centrally, you won't really see them in the wide areas at all, and they might drop a little bit deeper to like that 9.5 roll, as people like to call it, where they're sort of between the cam and the striker. So again, for a 2-striker formation, you could almost make it play like, if you're playing 4-4-2, you could turn it into a 4-4-1-1 if you want your striker, or one of them, to drop into like a centre forward role at times. And then with attack, you will see that they say with an attack focus, the target forward is free to focus on going forward without any defensive instructions. So you might see them slightly to the left or to the right, almost like an inside sort of forward. However, they're not going to be right out on the wings. You know, you're not going to see them on the corner flags, etc. You will see them a lot down the middle of the goal, And yeah, that's sort of how it works when it comes to the target forward. So I'll give you an example here. They say physicals are good, attacking is good, build up support can be, iffy, lack of mobility, which again struggled with the balance one as well. So you need to, when it comes to squad building, what you need to be aware of is if you just had one striker and you had them as, what should we put it as, target forward and balanced, right? They're going to be good physically. They're going to be good for build up support. However, if you need them to turn quickly and get in behind, that's not what you're looking for here. You do not want to target forward for that role. But if you want them to stay there, hold the play up, get into the box for crosses or cutbacks, could be someone that you're looking for. You also have advanced forward. Now, advanced forward is a versatile attacker, usually stays close to the opposition's defensive line, but open themselves up for passes in the build-up and makes runs in behind for scoring chances. So essentially, you would want someone with, in my opinion, good pace, good dribbling, really, for this one. So with this, if you look on attack, you will see it's all very central, and it states here, if you've got an advanced forward on attack, very limited width. However, if you had one on complete, limited in build-up support. So why they're all over that front line, they're not really dropping as deep, trying to get involved with the play. So they'll probably be out of position quite a lot as well. They've said here there's less movement. Like, you're limited. So this sort of thing I'm so excited for, because I think from a gameplay point of view, I'll be honest, I think there'll be some that are broken. It's going to happen. But I think it could open the game up. You've also got a poacher, which is basically their one objective, score goals. So straight off the bat, one man comes to mind when I say this. He doesn't play football anymore. Ruud van Nistelrooy was a big poacher. They will not run back defensively. However, they will be in the right place at the right time trying to score goals. And you'll notice with this, on their focus, they've only got one option, which is attack. So just to recap this, you've got each individual role. So target forward, you've got advanced forward, poacher, false nine. That's just for strikers, right? However, within that, you've then got your focus. So you've got a wide, balanced, or attack. And I would recommend, if you're sort of looking at what sort of squad you want to build out in the future, jumping onto foot.gg. I don't know if Footbin or anyone else has got it as well. Looking at your players' roles and seeing where you sort of want them to be, where you want it to affect. It should show you on FC25 when the game is finally out how it's going to look. So if we select another role, if we go to left back, now with a fullback, and these are the same for both left and right back, you will notice you've got fullback, which is basically box standard left back. They will go forward when they can. They will come back when they can. You've got a false back, which is something that is very new in modern football. Your player, you will see, so your left back here actually moves into like a central midfield area. So players that come to mind are people like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who obviously would move into midfield for someone like Liverpool. Pep obviously does it a lot as well with his fullbacks. It's a popular thing nowadays. I think United have tried it at times. We used to have Wan-Bissaka, I think, was doing it a lot last season for us. Essentially, you're trying to create an extra man in midfield to give yourselves some more options going forward. So that's one to bear in mind as well for a false back. Attacking wing back, you will see here you've got attack or balance. Now with attack, they're light green. They're right at the edge of the box. These are the sort of fullbacks I personally enjoy. Right on the edge of the box. Balance is probably better because the most effective area is here around just outside the area's box, I would say. If you imagine them 2 to 3 squares at the opponent's box, you're sort of getting up towards it. I imagine this is sort of like the corner flag, this point here, and then sort of on the edge of their box here, halfway line, edge of my box, my goal. Or my corner flag, I should say. So that's how I sort of read it. So if you look on this one, with attack, the light green is literally right on their corner flag. So if you lose the ball, counter-attacks could be big. Like, you could get caught out quite a lot. Whereas with the balanced one, yes, you're high up the pitch, but you've got more chance of getting back a little bit. So I think I prefer that as an option. And then you got wing back, which, again, do you know what? Even wing back might not be a bad shout. They can go forward a little bit, but they don't go right to the edge of the box, like right into the corner flag sort of side of things. Playing around with these sort of things are going to be so important. And there is one that, again, is quite popular in modern football. And it's, if you go to defensive midfield, there's one that says centre half. And basically, the player that springs to mind for me last season for Manchester United was Amrabat. I used to watch how we were playing, and he used to do this a lot for us. Essentially, if you imagine you got your two centre-backs, the DM, when you're on the ball, they will then join and make a back three. So the fullbacks would push forward. I mean, we still do it now, to be honest. But your two fullbacks would push forward, and then your DM would sit in between the two centre-backs and make it a back three. So essentially, what this whole system is now around roles is just tactics, right? It is just custom tactics. However, it's kind of been jazzed up a little bit more, So if you go to like a winger, for example, inside forward, so at a left wing, you're going to be cutting in here. And again, I think of people like Marcus Rashford, Mo Salah on the right-hand side. Anyone that likes to cut in, which again is so popular in modern football. With winger, you're noticing they're staying more on the outside and they're going for the cross more than anything. Wide playmaker, again, staying a bit more on the outside, but they do sort of drift a little bit more central. So that's just an intro to some of the roles. What I would recommend, because I could be here all day literally looking at all of these with you guys, going on to foot.gg and just going to player roles and having a little look for yourself. The other thing you can do is say there's a player you really like the look of. So let me think of someone for me. Right, I'm going to go Bruno. Bruno Fernandes, here we go. Now, Bruno is 87 overall. He's got cam, centre mid, long ball plus, 4-star, 3-star. And what did he used to be? Was he high? I'm pretty sure Bruno was in the old games. Obviously now he's got no work rates. I believe, from my own personal experience, from what I've seen and things like that, even though it says Bruno has playmaker plus and half winger plus, he will still be able to play other midfield roles. He just will not have the pluses with them. And I'm going to explain what they mean now. So with Bruno, and he's actually a good example here because he's got a plus and a plus. So with Bruno, if he has a plus, so he's got cam half winger. Essentially, if you put Bruno in your midfield and you put him at cam and you set his role to half winger, he will play this position better than someone that doesn't have the plus. So he will make some more attacking runs that they might not make. He might be able to get into certain areas a little bit more effectively, and he will be more effective in that half winger role because he's a plus. What a plus role is, and I know it gets a little bit confusing, but when you get your head around it, it does kind of make sense. Essentially, this is their way, EA's way, of saying that this player right here, so Bruno Fernandes, is world class in this position, doing this thing. So they're saying Bruno as a playmaker in a cam role is world class. That was EA's words, was plus is world class movement. So essentially, in a playmaker role, which you can see here is quite nice. You can have him as roaming. So he's going to cover all of these areas here. Or you can have him as balanced and he'll cover these areas. He will feel elite. So it will be like you will feel like you're using one of the best players in that position in the game. Whereas if you had someone like, actually I know who we can compare Bruno to. If we looked at James Maddison, for example, another centre attacking mid, you will notice he's only a plus on playmaker. So while he'll be good in that role over compared to someone that hasn't got even a plus symbol, Bruno will feel that much better. Bruno will feel like you're using someone that is made for that role. You know, it will be like, this guy is ideal for here. And again, I don't just have to use Bruno as an example. It was just the first one that come to mind. If we look at Hernandez, he's got plus on a fullback. So if you're someone that likes using your defenders or your fullbacks to come into the midfield, then someone like Theo Hernandez will be ideal for you. With Cristiano Ronaldo, he's a plus in advanced forward. So if you had him on attack, advanced forward, I personally would be expecting him to be in a lot of space a lot of time and to make them runs that others might not make. That is how roles work. And I think it's good because it gets rid of any annoying work rates. From my personal point of view, one thing that annoyed me last year was having someone like Højlund feel so bad because he had medium high. Whereas now, if we look at Rasmus Højlund himself, you will notice he's got advanced forward plus or poacher plus. Okay, he's not a plus in any role. However, hopefully with a plus symbol, he will still feel better than someone that hasn't got it. That is in theory what they're going for. Obviously, until we get our hands on the game, we won't truly know for certain. But I haven't got to worry about Højlund being on the halfway line anymore because he's got medium high. So this is how it should work going forwards. And in fact, if we build a squad builder out now, and if we go Onana, I'm going to build a Man United team. Okay, we'll go through these. I'm going to build this team out, guys, and I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Right, guys, you will see on my screen, I built Man United's team, basically. This is a team that hopefully after a week of playing the game, we might get somewhere near. And if we head over to tactics, you're going to notice that there's some big differences, really big differences. So let's start off with Onana. If we click Onana, you will see he's got goalkeeper as a role or sweeper keeper. And look at the box here, right? He's light green in here, which is his own area. Dark green, dark green, dark green. But if we take a closer look, Onana's got sweeper keeper plus. So look at now. His area has got bigger. So you would expect him to maybe come out here, collect the ball if we're passing it around. And he should be more efficient in doing that, right? So if you're looking at this now as a tactic, and this is where I think the FM side of things might come into it. For those of you that have ever played FM before, this might make a lot more sense to you. But you will notice that even though Onana is a sweeper keeper, he can still play the other role. He just won't be as good at it. If we move on to Diogo Dalot, you will know he can play fullback, falseback, attacking wingback, and wingback plus. So here, Dalot is going to be sort of roaming this area of the pitch up to this dark green point, but most of the time he's going to stay around here. And with that plus symbol, I would expect to find him in better positions as I'm playing through the game. So if I'm using Agate, for example, and I'm on the ball around here, I would be expecting to find Dalot here a lot of the time in space. So that would be Dalot's role. De Ligt. Now we've got choices here, right? I can leave him on defender if I'm like, do you know what? Better safe than sorry. Let's have him on defender. Let's put him on defensive. He's not going to move forward. No nonsense centre back. He's going to be there. He's going to be defending. That's fine. And he'll be all right at that. Like, he'll do his job as you would expect. However, if I'm like, I need to get the best out of De Ligt, I really want to get the best out of him, I can either choose a stopper, who's a ball-winning centre-back. He will step forward slightly, so he's going to venture out into these sort of areas. And he might play the passes out to Mainu, to Ugarte, maybe Delo or Mazraoui or Martinez. That's an option. Or I can go, that might be a little bit too negative. When I'm on the ball, I want to be building up play really well. Let's go ball playing defender. Now this, in my opinion, could be quite attacking. He's going to step up here quite a lot. I'm going to be playing a high line at this point. Or I've got the defensive option and I go, do you know what? I want you to be playing that pass, but I want you to stay back as much as possible. And this is what I mean by you start opening up so many options for your squad. Because here, if I'm like, let's go for the throat, let's go for the kill, have De Ligt here, Martinez can also be as a ball-playing defender. My two centre-backs are going to be higher up. Mazraoui can go wing-back. So again, he's going to be high up here. Delo's going to be high up here. And my two centre-backs are going to be here. So, and then on top of that, Onana's going to be like out here. We're going to be pushed quite high up the pitch, which obviously could be good on the attack. But then if someone hits me with a long through ball over the top, I could be very vulnerable in behind. So what I might do is I might say, do you know what? Someone like Manuel Ugarte, yes, he's a box-to-box plus. However, I want you holding. I literally want you here. I don't want you going any more forward. Same as Mainu, box-to-box plus. I might be like, we're pushing so many players forward. I want you holding. Bruno. Now, this, I would definitely go Playmaker Plus. And I might say, go balance, Bruno. Roam these sort of areas, pick up the play, make things happen for me. And then let's see what we can do with him. He's going to unlock them defences for me. Fantastic. Diallo hasn't got a plus role at all at right wing. If you play him at right mid or cam, he does. But at right wing, he doesn't. So again, choosing the right formation that fits your players would be, well, to be honest, I think that will be very important because again, if I go back to Ugarte, at central midfield, he's got 1+. However, if you look down here at DM, he's got 2+ options, right? So he can play centre half as a plus or holding as a plus. And that would sort of stick him around this sort of role as the holding midfielder, or it would put him here for a centre-back. Diallo then, depends how you want to play. I could again go, do you know what? Diallo on that left foot, let's cut inside, let's try and get some shots away, maybe play some diagonal through balls to the likes of Marcus Rashford, try and get that pace in behind. Or I could go stay wide, crosses into the box, maybe bring on a Xerxes or a Hoyland up top. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Obviously, Garnacho would be the same. And again, no plus option unless you're in that left or right mid. So you might, for Man United here, we might be better off going a 4-2-3-1 wide because you can make the most out of the DM roles. And does Kobe have a DM? Sadly, Kobe doesn't have a DM option, but he doesn't have a plus option is what I mean. But you can still play him there and he will still be decent. Just not as good if I had him as box-to-box plus. Marcus Rashford. Now, again, left mid or striker. So if I go striker, sorry, I want him as an advanced forward. Let's take the most of that. Now, I'm looking here and I'm thinking, if I go complete, I think there's going to be times where he's going to be well out of position. So let's just go attack. Keep him as central as possible. He might drop down behind Bruno. But my objective there would be, right, we've got Bruno at cam. He's going to be roaming around here. Hopefully, Marcus is going to be finding these runs in behind. And we'll pick him out with the likes of Bruno, with the likes of Diallo making chances, Garnacho, etc. I hope that makes sense. To me, when I actually look at it and I look at that's some things to remember, right? If you're looking at this and you're like, I still have no idea what's going on, who can someone I choose? So yeah, do you know what? Go Minu. So Minu here, the light green boxes is where he's going to be playing most. That is the area of the pitch you're going to see him most. The dark green, he will still pop up there, but not as often. And anything that's been greyed out, he just won't really be there at all. With Bruno, because he's a plus, he will be in these positions, but what you will find is he will feel so good in them positions. He will find pockets of space that other players might not because of that plus. It's a way of saying this player is world class in this position doing this thing. I like it. Personally, I just think there's some really nice things you can do with the tactics. There is more you can go into with the tactics. Like if we go here, you got things like your build-up play and obviously your defensive approach. I believe there was even more than that as well. But yeah, what I'm really hopeful for is that when it comes to evolutions, we get given some like plus positions or a plus position for players. That would be kind of cool. As an example, if we took Agate here, if I want him as a holding midfielder, he can do the role, but there'll be other players that are so much better at it than him because of that plus symbol or the plus. It would be kind of cool if in a month or two's time, there's a new Evo that comes out and I can make him a holding central midfielder as a plus. Or I could turn Kobe Minu from a box-to-box plus to a plus, you know? I think that would be quite cool. I don't know if that's going to come or not. I'm kind of hoping it is. But yeah, I'm hopeful this has made some sense to you guys. If you have any questions, get down in the comments. I'll be happy to try and answer them if I can. But yeah, I think for now, that is going to be the end of this video. We are only, at time recording, 5 days away. 5 days. That's right, I'm recording this on Sunday night. The game comes out on Friday, so technically it's actually less than 5 days. But I cannot wait. Super hyped for the new year. Super hyped for the new game. But yeah, for now, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made sense. And I'll see you all very soon indeed.